So how do you immigrate your parents to the United States? There are so many ways to do this. It depends whether you're in the United States or outside of the United States. In this video, we'll talk about this and more. So I'll see you on the other side. In this video, we'll talk about the process of what it takes to immigrate a parent to the United States. But before that, I would like to ask you to subscribe to our channel. If you're here for the first time and you see this video for the first time, click that bell to be notified of new videos. We try to do videos every week. And also, leave a comment. If you have a question, a suggestion on this video, if you liked it, leave a comment. I love to see comments. I love to respond. And give us a like. There's a like right here. Just give us a like. It makes me very happy. And also, we have 2 Instagram accounts. You can see them right here. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. You can also send us a direct message on Instagram as well if you saw the video here, and I'll respond to you over there, and we can continue our discussion. Let's dive into how to immigrate a parent to the United States. So, the first thing is that you have to be a U.S. citizen first to be able to immigrate your parent and get them over here as soon as possible. So I would like to break down the process into 2 parts. So the first part, let's assume that your parents are currently in the United States physically on a non-immigrant visa. So the typical scenario that we have is that we have a U.S. citizen child over 21 that is petitioning for their parents, and they're here visiting on a tourist visa. So they're visiting because there's an event, or they're staying here long term. There are parents who come here and stay 2, 3, 4 months with their kids just to help with the grandkids or whatever reason. And during that time that they're here on a non-immigrant visa, the decision is made to change their status to the green card. So again, so the first step is that the child has to be over 21 to be able to petition for their parent and must be a U.S. citizen. And if the parents are here on a tourist visa or any other non-immigrant visa, the process that we're going to be using is called adjustment of status. So the requirements are filing a petition called I-130, and we have quite a few videos that explain how to complete an I-130, and that video, we can link it below, will also apply to a parent petition. So an I-130 form, in that form there will be a section that you'll check for your parents. If they're in the United States, an additional form called I-485, which is an adjustment of status form, will also be added to that package. In addition to that, they can also file a form called I-765, which is a work permit, and a form called I-131, which is a petition for travel. Because once they're here, and once the adjustment of status package is filed, they're not really able to leave the United States and travel. So it is really important to understand that when you file for an adjustment of status for your parents, if they're here as visitors, plan for them to be here at least for 4 to 6 months after filing, because once you file that adjustment of status form, they're not allowed to leave the United States. And in fact, if they do leave without that permission, the entire petition will be canceled. In addition to the regular forms, the I-130, which is the immigrant petition, the 485, which is the adjustment of status, and the 765 and I-131, which is the work and travel forms, you also need to file an I-864 petition form, which is the affidavit of support. Now, it is really important that in addition to being a U.S. citizen, the child must prove that they are able to afford financially to keep their parents in the United States throughout the process until they become a U.S. citizen. We had all these discussions about public charge and the health insurance rules and all these things that the government is about to impose. Most of these things currently are now on hold. But the reason why they brought those things up is because they're really concerned that people are coming to the United States and they're going to be taking funds and benefits from our public system, from our public resources. So it is really important, especially for a parent petition, because sometimes parents can be older and they may need resources that otherwise may not be available for people that are not currently green card holders. So it's really important to understand what benefits are available for them while they're going through the process before they get a green card, and make sure that they don't take any public benefits until they obtain their green card. Otherwise, it may impact their application. So the idea of the I-864 is to show that the child is able to afford financially to bring their parents to the United States. If there is issue with the financial support, the child can also request somebody to be a co-sponsor, and they can also join the petition and help with that application. So once you have all these forms assembled with the petition, with the supporting documents, which are birth certificates to show that these are actually your parents, those things are filed with the USCIS Immigration Office in the US, and then the process starts. So the parents will be waiting in the United States. If they're here as tourists, they're going to get a receipt showing that their status is now pending adjustment of status. Typically within a month or so, they'll get a request to come for a fingerprints appointment, they'll get their biometrics, and then maybe after 4 months, they'll get their travel and work permit, which will allow them to go back to their home country if they need to take care of some things. And then finally, after 6 months or so, they'll be called for their interview, where the son or daughter will go with their parents to the interview just to verify all these documents, the information, and if the immigration service is happy with the information provided, they will grant an approval, and the parents will get a green card that will be mailed to them within 2 weeks after the interview, and they'll be able to get a Social Security and live in the US as a permanent resident. Typically, that green card is a 10-year green card. It's a permanent green card, and that's the process while they're in the US. But most of our clients and their parents are abroad waiting. Their intention is to move to the US later on. So what typically happens under the second process, we call this a consular processing, the child will file a petition, the I-130, first in the US. That petition will be approved probably after 5-6 months. That case then will be sent to the National Visa Center, and that's a State Department agency that will start processing the paperwork. And at that point, unlike the adjustment of status process, only at that point they'll be asking for the affidavit of support and for all the other financial documents. And once the child provides those documents, completes forms DS-260 and the supporting documents, and that application is complete, then that case will be sent to the US Embassy in the home country. And keep in mind that this may take from the first step of filing until the interview almost a year, as opposed to the process that happens in the US, which may take 6 to 8 months, which definitely is faster in the US. So once the parent attends the US Embassy interview, they'll be issued an immigrant visa, which is a 6-month visa allowing them to enter the US. Once they enter the US, they're going to get a package to present at the port of entry. Once they present that package, sign it, and they enter the US, the green card will be mailed to them within 2 weeks. So as you can see, the process from inside the US and the process from overseas consular processing is slightly different and maybe a little bit longer. We suggest the decision to choose which process will really depends on the circumstances of your parents. Some parents may be able to travel more frequently, and they have no issue with traveling while the process overseas takes place. And some parents are more elderly and they're not really able to travel, and the decision to change status happens in the US. Remember that if the decision to do this in the US, you have to wait at least 90 days before you file the petition to avoid any presumption of fraud or immigrant intent, because most of these people are coming here as visitors. So hopefully this information was helpful. We get a lot of questions about how to immigrate your parents. So know there are 2 ways to do it: adjustment of status or consular processing from the embassy abroad. So any questions, make sure you post them in the comments below. If you see this video for the first time, subscribe. We'll be very grateful. And share this with somebody who may need this. You never know. Maybe somebody needs this information and you're watching it. Make sure they see that link. And I enjoyed doing this video. Let me know what other videos you may be interested in us making. Post them in the comments below. And we'll see you at our next video. Thank you for watching.